falsely accused was used and misled, bitch. I'm hoping you fucking rest in peace.
We back with another reaction video, yeah. You know what I'm saying? This is, you know what I'm saying, a reaction video about a short little documentary, you know what I mean? This might be, you know what I mean? I don't know if it's gonna be short or not, you know what I mean? This might be a two-parter, you never know, you feel me? But this, you know what I'm saying, documentary about Bucky Davis and the JBM, you know, aka the Junior Black Mafia, get down or lay down, you know what I mean? Story about these guys, you know what I mean, out there in Philly, you feel me? You know what I'm saying? Now, I ain't the one who, you know what I'm saying, that, you know, came up with the documentary. Nope, not me. This is from, you know what I'm saying, beyond the fame. Yep, beyond the fame, celebrity stories. You hear me? But yeah, shout out to them, you know what I'm saying, we're coming out with this documentary. You know what I'm saying? They definitely, yo check out this, you know what I'm saying, they channel if y'all haven't already, you know what I mean? But they definitely be, you know what I'm saying, be getting the scoop on shit, you know what I mean? Be putting out shit that, you know what I'm saying, I didn't know about certain people, you know what I mean, or about their stories and shit, you know what I mean, even if I done heard about them already. But, you know what I'm saying, forget all that though, you know what I'm saying, but still go check out their channel, you know what I'm saying, don't forget that part. But yeah, about to get right into this though, man, you know what I'm saying, about to check this right out, man. Let's get it, we live, let's go.
See my dreams unfold, nightmares come true. It was time to marry the game, and I said, yeah, I do. If you want it, you gotta see it with a clear eye view. I can feel it in the air. I can feel it in the air.
This crack house on 21st Street in North Philadelphia is closed now after two young people were executed in the doorway by a gunman yesterday.
Crack houses within every other block in the neighborhood.
$2 billion drug bill is aimed at punishing big-time drug dealers and casual drug users.
Today, there's a new epidemic. Smokable cocaine, otherwise known as crack.
The investigation begins in Philadelphia, then moves to Camden, Elizabeth, New Jersey, and finally Brooklyn, New York. The seizure was captured by federal drug agents on this undercover videotape. Lawmen seized more than 1,000 pounds of cocaine with an estimated street value of $250 million.
It's only two places to go, either dead or
Leroy Bucky Davis was born on June 9th, 1967, to his mother, Erie Davis, and his father, Leroy Davis Sr. He came from a close-knit family, but in the 1970s, his dad had started to suffer from mental health issues, and things got so bad that his mom was forced to move back in with her parents, Marie and Marvin Harrison. They lived on the 1300 block of Paxton Street in Southwest Philly, and everybody in the neighborhood called his grandmother Mama because the community was so close-knit. Even in Bucky's own home with his grandmother, it wasn't uncommon to see aunts and uncles and cousins always there, always having that family atmosphere, and what they lacked in money, they made up for in love. But Bucky would find an outlet and a way out of poverty, because in 1974, he would be introduced to a man by the name of Dick Turner, and he was a boxing trainer at the Southwest Philadelphia Youth Center, and he saw the promise that a young Bucky had, and he began to train with him. And it was very clear early on that a young Bucky had the potential to be one of the greats. He looked up to Mr. Turner's nephew, a man by the name of Anthony Two Guns Fletcher, who had a very flashy style, and that was right up Buck's alley. He loved to put on a show, so he would often try to imitate Two Guns. He would enter into local boxing tournaments, Junior Olympics, and travel the amateur boxing circuit, making a name for himself.
Damn.
And eventually,
He was nice like that?
in 1985, he was selected to be a part of the United States boxing team. He would go to Dublin, Ireland to face their national boxing team, and Buck would dominate the flyweight division. According to his boys, he was always calling back home like, yo, I just dropped a bull. Yo, I just dropped another bull in 30 seconds.
Damn.
He won his division, and Buck's path was clear. He could become one of the boxing greats.
Damn. He was nice with the motherfuckers like that? What? Alright. Alright. Shoot. He might as well, you know what I mean? He should have just went ahead and, you know what I'm saying, became one of them, you know what I'm saying? One of the great boxers, you know what I mean? If he was nice like that, you know what I mean?
This was a time of people such as Tommy Hearns, Marvelous Marvin Hagler, Sugar Ray Leonard, and Young Buck. He had all of the skills to be one of those people. He just had to keep putting in that work. And his boxing coach, Mr. Turner, would always tell Buck, son, please don't blow this gift that God gave you. Please don't blow it.
Nice like that.
But Buck's life would change when him and his high school sweetheart had a son when Buck was only 16 years old. His son was named Lamar. And that very same year of that child being born, he had another son with another ex-girlfriend. And his son's name was Fontel. Now with the pressure of being a teenage father, Buck, he needed money, and he needed it now. So Bucky, he would take to the streets of Philly, looking for a way to make $1. He got into gambling. He loved pool, and he loved dice. And this is when he would get his nickname, Lucky Bucky, because he would come in the dice game and pretty much take all the cash. And one day, Buck had won that dice, but the person he beat, they didn't want to pay him in cash, so they paid a young Bucky in coke. And this is what introduced him to the drug game. He began to hustle on 52nd and Chester with his homie Outlaw, but this was still kind of lowbrow hustling. They wasn't getting a lot of money, and Buck, he would still do a lot of gambling on the side. But Lucky Bucky's luck was about to run out because one day at a high-stakes crap game, it was found out that Bucky had been using trick dice, and the person who was running the house, he was about to kill Buck, flat out. But a man in the room raised his voice. That man was named Black Sam, also known as Magic. And he vouched for the young boy that he knew him from around the way, and he saved Bucky's life, and the two would form a bond, and Black Sam would take Bucky under his wing, showing him different parts of the drug game, and also introducing him to the JBM, the Junior Black Mafia, an extension of the Black Mafia family that ruled the city of Philadelphia throughout the late 60s and the 70s, created by Samuel Christian in 1968. They had a reputation for extortion, kidnapping, armed robbery, and multiple murders.
There were up to 900 people in the Club Harlem that night. Sam Christian and other Black Mafia members basically go in and basically commit a mass shooting. They go in and start opening fire. They kill Tyrone Palmer. They kill a few of his bodyguards, and they kill 3 women and injure 20 people.
They committed many infamous acts throughout the 70s, but as some of them began to either die or go to prison or go on a run, it left a void in the streets of Philadelphia, and that void would be filled by the JBM, created in early 1986 by Aaron Jones and James Cole. And Aaron Jones was actually groomed by Black Mafia hitman Robert Nudie Mims. The JBM was created under the idea of recruiting different independent dealers throughout the city and getting them all under one flag of the JBM. And Bucky, he repped it to the fullest, and he was getting more money than he had ever seen. He worked under his mentor, Black Sam, as a distributor and as a top manager. But Buck was finna rise even more after one of the top bosses, Aaron Jones, took a liking to him and wanted to groom Bucky. He approached Black Sam and told him, hey, I'm gonna take him up under my wing and I'm gonna take him to the next level. Buck would be promoted from manager and distributor to a squad boss, which meant he now had a seat at the JBM table with the head honchos, and he brought his guys along with him. He had a crew of day one homies: Liddell Johnson, Will Quiet Storm Purdue, James Littles Morton, Melvin D. Davis, Manny Mason, Suge, Lefty, all of the guys. They had a spot that was between Greenway and Woodland Avenue on 58th Street, and they were working 8-hour shifts. And it wasn't uncommon to collect $30,000 in just one shift. And this went on 7 days a week for years. Despite Bucky's small stature, he was a leader of men. He made you feel like you was the only person that could move that pack, that could move that work. And a lot of the people who was up under him, when he got him in the kitchen, they seen nothing but Pyrex vision. Bucky and his Southwest crew, they was getting it, along with the entire JBM, but somebody would come into their life that would change the dynamics of his team. Rodney Frog Carson, who was known from around the way as being a basketball player, but he joined the Navy and he started to come back home to visit. And while he would be home, he would see Bucky and his crew, guys around his same age, getting major money that he would never see in the military. And he wanted that life. He wanted that fast money. So one day he approached Bucky and asked him what could he do to get down. And Bucky, he needed to get a spot. And since he was a street dude, it was kind of hard to get an apartment in his name. So he used Frog as a front man, and this is what got him on. And he wasn't just a front man, he would rise up. And after going AWOL from the military, Frog would become Buck's second in command. They got 2 matching BMWs, and they got a lavish spot out in Penrose, an exclusive suburb in Philadelphia. But a lot of Buck's day one homies didn't really see why Frog rose up the ranks so fast. He wasn't in the trenches with him growing up, so they just didn't understand how he got so much power without being there from day one. But Bucky, he was the leader. He explained it to him the best that he could, but when you was getting money like they was getting it, it was hard to argue anyways. Jeeps, Beamers, convertible Saabs, whatever the newest whips was, the JBM was in it, along with custom-made jewelry with the letters JBM encrusted in diamonds. But JBM just didn't stand for Junior Black Mafia. It said that it also stood for just blowing money, and it wasn't just a street gang, it was a lifestyle.
It wasn't just rings. I mean, people was putting it on cars, you know what I mean? It was a lifestyle. A ring was just the icing on the cake, but it was just a lifestyle. JBM was a lifestyle. You know what I mean? People say Junior Black Mafia, but you know what I mean? Another take on that was just blowing money. And they was blowing money, and they had blow and...
Just like that.
And a lot of the members would get JBM on their license plates, but Buck, he would switch it up. He got serving well on his license plate because he was definitely serving well, getting a lot of money, taking care of his family, and trying to give back. There are stories from people that were kids growing up in Southwest Philly during Buck's heyday, saying that they would go to the local fashion store and run up a tab under Buck's name and just tell the store owner, yo, Buck said we come in here and get some stuff, and just put it on his tab. And when Buck would come in, the store owner would give him the tab like, yo, these kids came in here and ran it up. And Buck would be like, yo, what? But he would go ahead and pay for it. He was just a giving type of guy. But whatever he gave, Bucky and the JBM definitely took from the community as well, because crack was a superpower. It severely damaged the black community. It changed the way people had to live their lives in the streets of Philadelphia. It kept kids from being able to play outside. But despite the destruction that was going on around them, JBM was too busy counting money. And one of the leaders, Aaron Jones and Bucky, they were real close. Front row seats at premier boxing matches, all the celebrities coming to check in with Bucky when they come to Philly. People like Bobby Brown, Eazy-E, amongst others. He knew how to move amongst the bosses. Bucky was a superstar in Southwest Philly, and his status had become legendary. A story about rappers from back in that time by the name of Kool C and Steady B, who kind of had a rap buzz, and they were popular, especially in Philly, and they were shooting a music video, and everybody was surrounding them because, you know, they rap stars. But Bucky, he pulled up in the cherry red Volvo, hopped out, and everybody left from Kool C and Steady B and ran over to Bucky like, yo, there go the bull. He was that guy. Bucky was not only popular around Southwest for his time as a boxer and competing for the United States boxing team. Now, he was growing a legendary status in the streets. And the JBM would continue to rise as well and expand. And once they got major dudes from around the city to join their team, they would be unstoppable. They got Brian Moochie Thornton, who ran the Richard Allen projects, Kevin Bowman, who was strong in North Philly, Larry Brown and Reginald Reeves were making plays all over West Philly, and Mark Casey was a major player uptown. And with the team now strong as ever, the JBM's profits would skyrocket, especially after they got their new connect by the name of Earl Stewart, aka Mustafa, the plug. Hundreds of keys every week, millions of dollars. The JBM loved the nightlife. They hit up clubs such as the Plateau, where they could shine, showing everybody that we them boys out here getting that money. All of the ladies wanted to be with them, and the fellas, they wanted to be down. Now, in their first few years of existence, the JBM was getting money in silence. It wasn't too much noise around their name when it came to law enforcement. But as they went to expand, they started to have beefs around the city, and this led to one of the leaders, James Cole, to step down. He was a little older, he had a different mindset, and he knew violence would bring the police, which would ultimately bring problems.
They were low-key for the first couple years, and then as they grew and there was more cocaine brought into the organization, there was many more fights, many more gunfights, and there was just this trail of bodies.
Most people have no clue that in 2023 the best way to make money on Amazon is not.
So he gave it all Aaron Jones and put him in touch with his plug, Mustafa. Now, Aaron Jones had absolute power in the JBM, and whenever members of the crew would meet up, they would greet each other with a big hug, followed by the words, family. JBM was as strong as ever. The money was coming in, the girls was there, cars was there, life was good, but a war was on the horizon from a threat coming from abroad, from Jamaica. When Vivian Blake and the Jamaican shower posse came to town.
In late 1984, 5 people are executed in a Miami crack house. One, a pregnant woman, is found in a praying position as if pleading for her life. Investigators charged this slaughter was the handiwork of Jamaican posses that killed 1,400 people around the nation during the 4-year investigation. Among arrests that began yesterday were 34 members of the Miami-based Shower Posse, so named because they rained bullets on their enemies.
These people are absolutely the most vicious organized crime group in the United States today.
It was started in Tivoli Gardens in Jamaica by Lester Lloyd Coke, aka Jim Brown, the Don of Dons, a Jamaican drug lord who ruled the Garrison community in West Kingston. And the Jamaican Shower Posse had a very fierce reputation, especially when it came to murder. Their name comes from the fact that they would shower their enemies in bullets when they were at war. The Shower Posse was strong in places like New York City, New Jersey, Florida, and now they had their sights set on the city of Philadelphia. The Shower Posse would come in with force and was able to establish itself in the Philadelphia drug trade, but the JBM, they weren't finna go for it. And the war was on, and it was a very bloody and violent battle. The Shower Posse stood tall for as long as it could, but according to JBM members, once they was really able to come up with a plan, the Shower Posse just couldn't handle the pressure, and they was able to run them up out of the city.
No, we didn't like them shooting them young guys and taking them out the airports and then running back to Jamaica. We wasn't feeling that.
The M came through and cleaned that shit up like, man, y'all gotta get the fuck from around here. Most of them dudes that Shower Posse and shit, niggas was coming up from New York. So when they came down with that shit, they got it in for a little minute, but then when the M got it all, formed it all up, you know what I mean, niggas had to roll. That was the way it went. They got the fuck out of there. They went to war a little bit, but they couldn't stand the pressure.
A staggering 27 people were murdered during this bloody turf war. But it wasn't just threats from out of town that Bucky and the JBM had to worry about. Some of the local dealers, when they were approached with the option to get down or lay down, they chose war. People like Capone from Southwest and Craig Haynes from Uptown. And Capone would actually end up shooting Bucky in a dispute after Bucky confronted him over owing money to one of Bucky's associates. It said that he shot Bucky in the back, but of course Bucky survived. And not too long after that, Capone would be shot multiple times by JBM hitmen. But Capone was able to survive this attack. Craig Haynes would lose his initial battle with the JBM. They were able to take over his territory in Uptown Philly, forcing him down to South Philly. But he had family out there, and he also knew of other independent drug dealers who hated the JBM. There, they were able to form up a team with enough muscle to go head to head with the JBM, and bodies began to drop on both sides. Multiple members of Craig Haynes' crew would be gunned down by JBM hitmen in gangland-style murders. But even though the JBM was damn near somewhat of a superpower, they too suffered casualties. Multiple JBM members were gunned down as well. And even though certain crews like Capone's and Craig Haynes could put up somewhat of a fight, others didn't have a chance against the force that was the JBM. It was a well-known hustler by the name of Albert A-Train Reagan. Him and his whole squad, they were wiped out in about the span of 1 month. And a well-known Philadelphia underworld boss by the name of Mark Lesby would be shot and killed in front of his home by a JBM enforcer named Anthony Big Tone Reed. But you didn't have to be a part of the drug wars to become a casualty. There's a story of a teenage boy by the name of Michael Waters, who one day was playing with his friends on a corner, throwing snowballs, and one of those snowballs hit a truck, and inside of that truck was a JBM hitman by the name of Anthony Big Tone Reed. He had a U-turn and began to speed down the street towards the teens. He pulled up on the corner, they all started to run, and he started letting off shots. And that's when Michael Waters was hit and killed. JBM enforcer Christopher Dirty Black Laster and his crew would open fire on the South Philly crew that were rivals. And in this shootout, they hit a woman by the name of Sylvia Stinson, but she was just wounded. Unfortunately, it was a man by the name of Willie Bowman who lost his life, and he was just an innocent man. There's also the story of one of the JBM leaders, Brian Moochie Thornton, getting into a road rage incident in North Philadelphia with a man by the name of Greg Jackson. And it's said during the altercation, Moochie's driver, a man by the name of Eric Little Hawk Watkins, got out of the vehicle and began to viciously pistol whip Greg Jackson. And while he was beating him, he looked over to Moochie and said, "Joe, you want me to kill him?" And Moochie gave him a head nod and said, "Go ahead." And he was shot multiple times and killed in front of his wife. The JBM was running the city with an iron fist, and they ain't have no mercy. And Bucky's Southwest crew were known to be some of the most ruthless. But the Southwest JBM faction were always viewed as pretty boys by the other JBM crews from around the city. But it's said that they were really putting in that work, getting up on their rivals and doing them dirty. Just so happened they were doing it while wearing gator boots, designer clothes. And the JBM was also in business with the MAFIA.
He said they just so happened to be doing it in gator boots and designer clothes. Ain't that some shit? Yeah.
Philadelphia Mafia, a man by the name of Joey Skinny Joe Merlino. They were definitely plugged in, and the JBM was raking in millions. The boss, Aaron Jones, he ran it like a Fortune 500 company, but a series of events would occur that would bring down the JBM empire.
And we gonna stop it right there, man. Part 2. We're gonna probably do part 2 tomorrow and everything, man. The Bucky Davis and the JBM story, you know what I mean? AKA Junior Black Mafia. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna see, you know what I'm saying? Well, when I see what we're gonna see and hear about, you know what I'm saying, the downfall, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, like, subscribe to the channel, especially if you rockin' with, you know what I'm saying, videos like this, you know what I mean? Join that Dinero movement. It's more than a movement, it's a lifestyle, you dig? And I'm gonna catch y'all on the flip side, man. Y'all be careful out here. Peace.